nos encontramos aquí en el cajón, en la factoría de Taylor Guitars, con Andy Powers, que es uno de los mejores representantes y embajadores de la marca, que nos va a explicar un poquito el tema de cómo ve él el tema de una elección de un instrumento acústico o que hay que tener en cuenta para elegir un instrumento acústico. Hi Andy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to visit us.
An honor. We have a question for you. It's about how is your choice for acoustic guitar, or what is the right choice for you, or the way to see it before to choose an acoustic instrument?
For guitars, I mean, really, these are like toys, you know. We're toy makers in a lot of ways. So when I look at it, I never am thinking, oh, a musician is a rosewood person, or a mahogany person, or a big guitar person, or a little guitar person, or you need a grand auditorium or anything. To me, it's never that specific. Now, in a way, that's a difficult choice because there are so many choices. I mean, we are making grand concert guitars and grand auditoriums and dreadnoughts and grand symphonies and the grand orchestras and 12 fret necks and 14. I mean, the choices are unbelievable in number. But when it comes down to it, what I find works best is for a musician to go into a shop with an open mind and pick the guitar up and play it. If you like the way it feels, if you like the way it sounds, that's a good guitar for you. I mean, sure, there's practical choices, like for a person's repertoire. If they're playing high up here on the fingerboard, they should probably be playing guitar with a cutaway because it makes it easier. It's a practical choice. I mean, really, you keep in mind what we hear, the music that is made when a person plays. It's never just the guitar. And it's also never just the musician. It's the relationship between the guitar and the musician. It's the two, the combination that you hear. So you want to make that combination as comfortable and appropriate as possible. So if somebody's playing up here high on the fingerboard, you need a guitar with a cutaway. You're playing only open position chords down here, you probably don't. If you like the warm, dry, fundamental, strong sound of mahogany or an all mahogany guitar, that's what you should be playing. If you like the shimmery overtone component of a rosewood and spruce guitar, that's probably what you should be playing. You know, so you can, with some help, you can guide yourself through choices, but really I think the best way is to go pick the guitar up and play them. And the one that fits your hands and your style of music is the one that you should be playing.
Nice. And the other question that we want to know about the Taylor guitars and in general, because we are overwhelming about the wide range of instruments that you have, is like when a new instrument is coming, what is the decision, what is the point, or what is the starting point to go to reach that goal?
To why make something new and different? Because I'm never content. I always want something to be better, to see if I could do a better job than we had done before. You know, if you work all years on building the perfect guitar and you make that guitar, you're going to wake up the next morning and go, I wonder if it could be any better. Because maybe it could. Maybe you learn something new. I mean, the guitars we make, in a lot of ways, they're a snapshot of who we are at that time. You know, they reflect all of your influences up to that point, the inspiration of that day, the materials that you have. They reflect kind of like where you're at in that growth, that experiment we call life. And tomorrow, you might learn something new and go, oh, I didn't know this before. That means that I could do this and this and this. I'll try it. And if the guitar is fun to play, if it's more enjoyable, then it should be made. You know, there's always refinements going on. Sometimes they're big changes, sometimes they're little tiny things. We go, yeah, just this small little alteration. A lot of people probably won't even notice it, but it might make something a little better. And if it does, then it should be made. So it really comes from a very, it's a very traditional mindset. I mean, all the guitars that we build, I start them by hand. With literally chisels, hand planes, hand tools. I build them in my shop here. I have a shop built out behind my house too for when I'm awake in the middle of the night. But a lot of those things, they'll start as just an idea of, I've got some wood, I'm going to try and make a better guitar than I did yesterday.
Wow, that's great.
And that's what becomes the guitars we produce.
Nice. And the whole range spectrum that you have, it's focusing in any particular type of sound, or it's more the overall thing that you have the concept of the type of sound that you want to do, and you go to.
Well, they do vary based on what we expect people to use.
Okay.
Okay, so like, let's say the Academy Series guitar, so we're building. In concept, that's a guitar aimed at either a beginning musician, somebody who's never played an instrument, maybe a guitar before, and they're interested in, they want to get into it. Okay, well there is a certain type of sound that I built into those guitars to be flattering, to make it enjoyable for even a novice. Now, it's ironic that that same sound tends to translate well to a very good musician as well. But you could say it as it's a very clear and focused sound. It's very forgiving for open position chords, for the types of sounds that you would expect coming out of someone who's just getting used to the instrument. So we also have an armrest on that. I want those guitars physically to be as comfortable as possible to somebody who's not really used to having proper posture with the guitar, things like that. So in that case, yeah, there's a lot that goes into that guitar that is specifically geared toward the type of player that I would expect would first pick that thing up. Something like this 900 series guitar, it's probably not going to be somebody's first guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's one or two folks, but this is a guitar that'll probably end up in the hands of an experienced player. And so for this guitar, I'm really trying to push the edge of all that you can hear. I want it to be the most responsive, the most dynamic, the most player reflective, like all these qualities that an experienced musician will pull out of it and go and appreciate what it can do. So in a way, as you move from, say, the GS Minis or the Academy Series guitars, the 100s, 200s, up to our 900 series or presentation, there are different flavors. And because the more expensive guitar allows you the time to really get all the subtle nuances just the way you want them, those guitars have a level of dynamic range and response that is really something.
Nice. And as a player, when you play an instrument, we know that it's really important the string choice, because it changes the tone a little bit. But how do you think or what is the amount of variation that you think that can imply in a original tone of the instrument, the string?
With the strings, it matters a lot. I mean, the strings are the first thing you're going to touch. They're the first thing that's going to set the guitar in motion. Like, we really like the Elixir strings. We're using a regular light gauge on the smaller size guitars. And then, here, at least here in the States, what we call a medium gauge on the larger body guitars. One of the main reasons that we like the Elixir strings is because they last so long. I mean, because, let's face it, when this guitar is in a shop, there's a very good chance that those set of strings are not that new. From the time we put the strings on here at our shop and we send the guitar all the way to Barcelona and it hangs in your shop, it might be there for a day or two, it might be there for a week, it might be there for a month before it finds the right set of hands to take it home. When that set of hands, when that musician goes to pick it up, I want the strings to be kind of fresh.
Yeah.
And so if I use a more conventional uncoated string, they're probably not going to be that fresh by the time it gets to your shop. You know, they'll be a month or more old, even though someone wasn't playing it. Yeah, they might go wrong by then. Yeah. So I love the Elixir strings for that reason. Once the guitar is actually in the hands of a musician, I like people to use what they're most comfortable with. For a lot of players, man, that's the Elixir strings. They last, in our case, they last a long time. And in the hands of a musician, they last a long time. That's a really great quality. Some players really love the uncoated D'Addario strings. Some players, they like, any other different brand. Some guys really love the Tomastic or the Labella or all those different flavors, the different wrap wires, the different alloys. They're all unique, different flavors. And these guitars will respond to those different colors because they're such high fidelity instruments.
That's nice.
Yeah, so to me, a player should use the strings that they like playing on their instrument.
Great. Okay, thank you very much for the interview. It's a pleasure to talk with you of music, about guitars. Thanks for your
Likewise.
time, and we'll enjoy your beautiful instruments.
Well, thank you. I
Nice to meet
appreciate
you.
it. Easy.
Yeah, nice, really nice. Can we record you some
Yeah.
5 minutes playing? Because
Sure.
it sounds really, really nice. Al fiquem allò, gravem 5 minuts.
I played this one last night for my kids when they were falling asleep. I can't remember what made me think of the tune, but it's a pretty one.
Amazing.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. There's every day I seem to just get more and more in love with the wide variety of all the music that we get to hear. I mean, lately I've been listening to Pablo Alborán a bit. I hear his songs, just go, oh, this is so beautiful. There's such cool stuff out. And then I'll listen to, I'm a big jazz fan. And I'll listen to McCoy Tyner or one of these guys and just go, how can this be so different and yet so beautiful in its own way? I went and saw, I heard U2 the other night, because we've been doing some things with them, and it was the first time I'd heard him play in person. And I thought, wow, what an incredible show. Such great songs, like songs that were written even 30 years ago that are just as applicable today, that still sound so good, There's just so many versions that it can come in.
Nice. Great.
Well, thanks, you guys. It's a pleasure.
A pleasure. Really nice to meet you.